Chapter 9. Genius Cannonfodder's Counterattack Record 9. Taking advantage of his precious time away from young Baihua, Xiao finished arranging the official demos of Innermost Feelings, Love You, and Autumn Thoughts, one by one. Chang Yuan had come up with the song names after much careful deliberation. If he were to distribute them, they only had to have, and could only have, these three names. Chang Yuan's golden finger was incredibly useful. As long as Xiao thought of creating music, innumerable melodies would surface in his mind. Thus, such work wasn't very difficult for him. After he finished recording the last song, Xiao laid down in the bed and expressed his user review. It makes me feel as if I'm an artist. Ling Youyi 061 laughed. Weren't you already one before? Due to the suspension bridge effect, after spending a night watching horror movies together, the bond between the two brothers in arms was strengthened, so their conversations were much smoother. Xiao said, "Before, I was a slag student with only high school qualifications, but now in the blink of an eye, I've gotten a bachelor's degree." Ling Youyi 061 said, "So a student who was awarded year-long scholarships for 3 years in a row can be called a slag student." Xiao said faintly, "So you even know my grades. Which one of my interviews did you learn that from?" Ling Youyi 061. It's become routine. Xiao sighed. "Watching my movies, and now even searching up my interviews. Brainless fans really are scary." Ling Youyi 061. I didn't. Really, I'm a proper system." In a deathbed struggle, Ling Youyi argued, "I just wanted to understand you to optimize task efficiency." Xiao rolled over onto his back so that he faced the ceiling and didn't reply. His silence made Ling Youyi suddenly feel a little flustered. He realized that he hadn't phrased his previous words very nicely and tried to correct himself. "You're not just a task to me." These words were from his heart. Xiao was his 11th host, but to the hosts, in these unfamiliar worlds, where they were utterly lost and alone, their system was the only thing they could rely on. Even though he had been reformatted once before, Ling Youyi 061 still had a lingering feeling. He knew that every time he had to part from a host was never a very pleasant experience. Ling Youyi 061 had wanted to be a cold, unfeeling system, exactly because he didn't want to feel the sadness of parting any more. But it seemed like he still couldn't do it. Xiao said, "You don't need to explain any more." Ling Youyi 061. Xiao said faintly, "I actually lost your love and affection so quickly." Ling Youyi 061. Xiao sighed. "I'm no longer that Mr. Chi you loved so much." Ling Youyi 061. "I shouldn't have bothered worrying about you." However, he also breathed a sigh of relief. Xiao wasn't quite the same as the rest of the hosts he'd taken on before. Even though he spoke childishly, he acted independently and calmly. As this kind of person, even though he came up with a lot of weird ideas, he was very capable of understanding the pros and cons of his actions. His will to return to his original world was very strong. Even if they had to say goodbye in the future, it wouldn't be too hard on them. After fulfilling his desire for drama, Xiao fell back into his silent sage mode. He reached out a hand and groped around the head of the bed for his sleeping pills before realizing that the bottle was empty. Xiao got up, preparing to change his clothes. Ling Youyi 061. "Where are you going? All the pharmacies are closed by now." Xiao said, "Then I'll find a club to dance at. Dance until the pharmacies open again." Ling Youyi 061. Chang Yuan's body wasn't made of iron. In order to finish the demos, he hadn't slept for 3 consecutive days. Now he was going out to play. What if he danced himself to death? If that happened, how was he going to fill in his work report? The host died from playing too hard? Ling Youyi 061 felt helpless. He said, "Lie down." Xiao said delightedly, Liu Liu, 66, are you going to give me a free hypnosis card? Ling Liu Yi 061. Who's Liu Liu? Xiao guessed what Ling Liu Yi was thinking. I've been mulling it over for a while. Calling you 0 or 1 wouldn't be very good, since they have a naughty meaning, and it could cause misunderstandings. Ling Liu Yi. Xiao. So in the end, Liu Liu 66 sounds the best. Ling Liu Yi let out a deep sigh. Fine, Liu Liu it is then. He said, you're very dependent on pills, and it's not good for your body. How about this? Every night before you sleep, I'll read to you. Who knows, it might help a bit. Even if you can't fall asleep, listening to me read won't be boring. This time, Xiao was truly silent. Ling Liu Yi 061 asked, is this okay? Xiao placed the coat he picked up back into the wardrobe and sat back down on the bed. This is some really good service. Have all your previous hosts enjoyed this kind of treatment? Ling Liu Yi 061 answered mildly, you're the only one I've met who can't fall asleep. Xiao lay down on the bed, one hand behind his head. He said, all right. What book do you want to listen to? I'll go back to the system lobby to download it and be back in 5 minutes. Harry Potter. After saying the title of the book, Xiao hesitated. No, not Harry Potter. The system patiently waited for his response. Soon, Xiao confidently articulated his book of choice. People's Education Press Senior Ideology and Politics for Students of China. Ling Liu Yi? Wait a moment. The system left for 5 minutes before returning on time. He opened up the book, lightly coughed twice, and started reading out loud. Ling Liu Yi's voice was originally a very pleasant, youthful voice. His carefully softened voice was more like fresh vines coiled around a tree, its leaves and branches lightly warmed by the light of the sun, forming a gentle embrace, wrapping up Xiao's consciousness. Xiao closed his eyes, curling up into the blanket. Teacher, what high school do you work at? If you teach me politics, I promise I won't fall asleep. Ling Liu Yi 061 smiled softly. You really won't sleep? Xiao didn't look at all like a well-behaved student. Xiao smiled along with him. Only if you can control me. How can I control you? Xiao said, you just need to be good-looking. Ling Liu Yi 061 gently smiled. He himself didn't know what he looked like. System's self-perception abilities were shut off all year round. Even if he looked into a mirror, he would only be able to see a sheet of mosaic. Furthermore, he didn't want to control Xiao. As long as he was happy and the task was completed quickly, the progress on his side would also be accelerated. After completing 200 tasks, he would be able to terminate his contract with the main system. When that time came, he could finally catch that appointment. But it seemed like he was already late, many years late to the point that he already had an accident and had his memories reformatted. However, it didn't matter. As long as he returned to his original world, he would probably be able to remember. Ling Liu Yi 061 connected to the indoor lighting system, dimmed the lights in the room, and corrected Xiao's sleeping posture. Close your eyes and put your hand down. If you keep propping yourself up, you won't be able to sleep well. Xiao closed his eyes, but his hand still stayed behind his head under the pillow. In a small voice, he said, if it's Lo Ying, that also works. If someone wanted to control him, they needed to be good-looking or be Lo Ying. Nothing else. Ling Liu Yi 061 didn't quite hear him and asked, what? Xiao didn't speak any further, and Ling Liu Yi 061 just continued reading until Xiao's breathing slowly evened out and a slight flush returned to his pale, bloodless face. Ling Liu Yi 061 didn't disturb him. By checking his body data, he confirmed that Xiao was indeed asleep. Gratified, Ling Liuyi 061 thought, seems like it works. 3 seconds later, the lights went out. The next day, the well-rested Xiao placed the master demos he'd recorded into a paper bag, prepared a meal, and brought them to Cheng Jian's office. Seeing Xiao with an apron tied neatly around his waist, expertly beating eggs in a bowl and pouring them into a pan, Ling Liuyi 061 was shocked. He really did know how to cook. Cheng Jian, after seeing his secretary lead his younger brother, who was carrying a lunchbox, into his office, was just as shocked as Ling Liuyi 061. Hearing that the egg fried rice had been made by Cheng Yuan, he was even more shocked. Today's weather was the lowest it had been since winter began. Cheng Yuan's nose was red from the cold. The moment he entered, he pulled out a thermos of water and eagerly gulped it down. Cheng Jian opened up the lunchbox. Inside was rice and soup, pork trotter soybean soup, and egg fried rice. Each grain of the fried rice had been coated in golden yellow egg, and the ham was chopped into fine, even pieces. Pig trotters were stewed to perfection, soft and delicate. With a gentle poke of the chopsticks, the meat would easily slide off the bone, piping hot and fresh, the fragrance of it filling his nostrils. Cheng Yuan breathed on his hands. "Ge, it's for you. It's hot. This insulated lunchbox I bought is really good at containing heat." A simple look at the substantial portion size showed that it wasn't takeout from a restaurant. Cheng Jian said sourly, "You make such a good wife and loving mother. You took such good care of your precious piano-playing fingers for so many years. Was it just for you to use them for stir-frying?" Cheng Yuan smiled widely. "Stir-frying food for my brother makes me happy. Ge, aren't you happy?" Cheng Jian. Then he ate the lunchbox clean in one go. After waiting for him to finish his food, Cheng Yuan clearly let him know his intentions in coming. Cheng Jian pushed the lunchbox away. "You're planning on sending out your songs?" Cheng Yuan hugged the paper bag to himself, his face full of anticipation. "Does Ge know where I can send them?" "I have a few classmates working in entertainment companies. I'll help you ask." Cheng Jian didn't know much about this field and naturally wouldn't make any promises. "What are your own goals?" Cheng Yuan obediently shook his head. Cheng Jian hated iron for not becoming steel. "You're like a stupid deer, not aware of anything." Cheng Yuan smiled foolishly. Still smiling, Cheng Jian's expression changed. "I have 2 friends who heard you sing before and asked me to ask you if you had any intentions of debuting as a singer, but you refused. Right now, one of them is working in Yundu Entertainment, and the other is in Xingyun Entertainment. Which one do you want to try out, or are both all right?" Cheng Yuan thought it over seriously. "Xingyun." Cheng Jian. "You're just choosing blindly, aren't you?" Cheng Yuan. "The name Xingyun sounds nice." Cheng Jian. "He's actually a stupid deer." Cheng Jian got up, took the paper bag from him, and opened it up to take a look inside. "Is this urgent?" Cheng Yuan lowered his head in embarrassment. "It's a little urgent. We need to pay the rent for old Yang's apartment soon." Cheng Jian. He telegraphed a kick towards the butt of his younger brother of his, who basically became the Yang family maid. Cheng Yuan immediately wrapped his arms around Cheng Jian's arm, an anxious look in his eyes as he whined, "Ge." Cheng Jian was confused, having never thought that his younger brother, who had always beaten down faster than a rabbit, would actually take initiative to get close to him. When he finally reacted, his face was a little hot. "What are you doing rubbing up against me? Your face is so thick." After Cheng Yuan ambled out of the office with the lunchbox, Cheng Jian took out the CD and inserted it into his computer. He didn't know anything about music, but just as the song started up, a proud smile appeared on his face. This was written by Cheng Yuan. However, when the melody moved forward a little and the chorus began, Cheng Jian was stunned. He hadn't majored in music, couldn't carry even a simple rhythm, but at least he knew what sounded good. After they left Cheng Jian's office, Ling Liuyi 061 asked him, "Why did you choose Xingyun?" Xiao answered, "Because I don't want to enter Yundu." Unlike Cheng Yuan, When Xiao wanted to do something, he would definitely do some prior research. Giving Cheng Yuan's song to some little company was really too much of a waste. But in his last life, he'd had no experience. In addition, given his older brother Cheng Jian's widespread connections, including many contacts among the higher-ups of many big entertainment companies, if he sent his songs to those companies, his older brother would definitely hear about it. He was young and inexperienced, and under Yang Baihua's encouragement, he had drawn a clear line between him and his family. He thought that it would be inappropriate to, after having just broken ties with his family, come back and depend on the care of his family to make money. This time, Xiao directly found Cheng Jian and unabashedly walked through the back door. He planned on entering a big entertainment company, but had no plans on entering Yundu Cloud City Entertainment. Yundu Cloud City was Tang Huan's company, so entering it would be inconvenient for his plans. Ling Youyi 061 still wanted to say something, but suddenly stopped. "He's coming." "Who?" Ling Youyi 061 said. "Yang Baihua." "Xiao." Ling Youyi 061 said, "I connected to your new car's inbuilt GPS. Just now someone entered your new address into the GPS. It should be Yang Baihua coming to find you." "His parents are here for the week. He's not spending time with them?" Ling Youyi 061 said, "It's noon. His parents might be taking a noon nap." After giving him the cold shoulder for so many days, finally he couldn't sit still any longer. In these last few days, Yang Baihua's goodwill level had been constantly fluctuating, completely unstable. It was clear that his emotions were in utter turmoil, and that he was quite concerned about what that childhood friend Lo Ying, Cheng Yuan had told him about. Xiao shrugged. "I'm not at home. He'll just be wasting his time." After that, he then added regretfully, "But it'd be great if there was really a Lo Ge at home. He's so concerned about Lo Ge, he even made a trip over specifically to take a look. Letting him go back empty-handed would be such a pity." Ling Youyi 061. "That's possible." Xiao raised an eyebrow. "Huh?" Ling Youyi 061 said, "I can make a copy of a physical body which will look exactly the same as any other person and can be tangible for a short period of time. Even though the main system bans us from using a physical body to interact with the outside world, as long as the hosts don't report it to the main system, there'll be no problem. I can pretend to be Lo Ying." Xiao thought for a moment. "All right." Ling Youyi 061. "Oh." Xiao, "Make it a little more handsome." Ling Youyi 061. Ling Youyi 061 thought of if he should make an image based on a movie star, but firstly, it would be troublesome, and secondly, his original appearance had been constantly praised as handsome by a system co-worker. He thought for a moment before deciding on using his own appearance after all. Soon, a Ling Youyi 061 appeared in the apartment. He quietly sat on the bed. He looked at his hands and feet, then looked into the mirror, but all he could see was a big sheet of mosaic, as expected. Since he had nothing to do, he busied himself by neatly folding the clothes Xiao had just tossed onto the bed and arranged them back into the wardrobe. About half an hour later, the doorbell rang. It was the security guard, saying there was a visitor here for Mr. Cheng. Ling Youyi 061 answered. "Here? Is it a Mr. Yang? Let him in, please." After 5 minutes, the doorbell rang. He got up and opened the door. Standing in the doorway was unmistakably Yang Baihua. Ling Youyi 061 smiled and nodded at the stunned Yang Baihua. "Mr. Yang, Xiao told me you'd be coming." However, Yang Baihua, who had always been considerate when handling matters, just stood there, stunned, for quite a while after seeing Ling Youyi 061's face, and even ignored Ling Youyi 061's greeting. "Mr. Yang?" He had no idea what Yang Baihua was seeing. The person in front of him was dressed in a white shirt and black pants, had an upright posture, and was taller than him by several centimeters. However, his clean temperament, especially his facial features, were actually not much different from young Baihua's own. The author has something to say. I edited some of the early chapters. Xiao, who's messed around in the entertainment industry for so long and seen all kinds of handsome men, was stunned when he first saw young Baihua. Scum Yang immediately entered the self-doubt of, I'm a replacement?